Visit abaeservices.com for fast medical transcription service. This podcast episode is brought to you by AB Music Creative.
This episode is brought to you by Dr. Lourdes Capulong.
The impression that I got was, binigyan ako ng specific date. December 31, December 31 of 1987, quit na.
That was a conviction you had in your heart.
Well, that was what I sensed that
Right.
God was telling me.
Yes. So no human being said that to you.
No.
Wow.
So and this happens during my quiet moments with
Yes.
God, and when I worship Him, when I meditate, when I read the Scripture. So basically, in that process, ang impression sa akin is December 31, 1987, quit na. So ako naman, bargain. So Lord, teka muna, guest lang ako doon sa Playboy Club. Guest lang ako. Kasi New Year's Eve celebration or New Year's Eve concert.
Oo nga.
Sabi ko, Lord, teka muna, medyo, guest lang ako doon. Can you at least give me a farewell concert? So ang impression ng Lord sa akin, no fanfares. In other words, why would you tell people that you're leaving? They wouldn't be able to understand you anyway. So, and then alam naman natin, December pa lang, kinukontrata na yung mga artists, mga venue, mga musicians for Valentine's.
Yeah.
Diba? So,
my God.
December merong offer. Malaking pera, siyempre. Siyempre, yun naman ang hanap buhay natin. So, tinanggap ko. And what happened was, kumbaga parang there was silence na, sometimes when you pray, parang you don't sense Him anymore, parang wala, no?
Nagtampo.
Oh, I don't know. So nothing's happening. So anyway, I got an invitation in January. I got an invitation to go with Word for the World, to go to Hong Kong to do an evangelistic thing, no? And then side trips to China to smuggle in Bibles. So anyway, I told the production staff kasi may Valentine's Day show nga. Ironically, kami ni Lia Navarro. Anyway, I told the production staff, hey, I'm going to Hong Kong, so could we have a production meeting so that at least, kasi ako, masyado akong OC eh.
Right.
I'm very detailed. I'm a detailed person. Sabi ko, so that I know what my spiels are, what my costumes are, what the songs are, para na sa ganun plansado na. And so we had a production meeting at Hotel Intercon. And, second floor. And, basically I was, kumbaga parang the life of the party, papatawa, whatever. After the production meeting, paglabas ko ng Intercon dun sa revolving
Sa
door.
lobby.
Sa lobby. Paglabas ko ng revolving door, parang may mabigat na gumanon. Parang. So ako naman, so I stopped. And again, the impression was, who are you up there? Were you the same Ray An that they knew, or were you a new creation? So, wow. So ngayon, driving home from Intercon to BF, while driving, I was pounding my thighs. I said, Lord, you got to speak to me. Okay. So before I slept, I did a devotion. I had a devotion. So I got my daily bread. ang story was about Lot. Before he was outside Sodom and Gomorrah, and then he finally went inside. He lived inside Sodom and Gomorrah to the point that where God was about to judge Sodom and Gomorrah, and he tried to warn his family. Hindi naman siya pininiwalaan.
Yeah.
So, tapos sa mga daily bread kasi merong caption sa bandang huli. Ang caption is, you cannot walk with God and run with the devil.
That was amplified. It spoke to you talaga.
Oh, kasi yun talaga. Basically, the story of Lot, ang impression sa akin ng Lord is, Rayan, if you stay in show business, you wouldn't be an effective witness. They wouldn't believe you. Kasi yung mundo ng show business,
Yeah.
medyo Grabe eh.
You were kind of at the top of your game.
Yeah,
Dahil
yeah.
86-87, possible pa lang sina Martin Gary.
Oh yeah. I was at the height of my career.
You were the original you. Ikaw lang ang sinundan ni Gary Valenciano.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So basically, I was according to my cousin, my cousin, my half brother, I was ahead of my time. So, I was still at the height of my career when I left show business in 1988. Kasi, yun nga, you cannot walk with God and run with the devil. So, when we got to Hong Kong, sabi ko, Lord, you gotta speak to me again pagdating sa Hong Kong. Sabi ko, I'm going to proclaim a fast. Okay, so I'm going to proclaim a fast. Pagdating sa Hong Kong, mangusap ka sa akin. Man, fasting, alam mo naman Hong Kong, Chinese food, Laureate.
Pag nag-Laureate.
Ay, nako, ako lang hindi kumakain. Oo, 7-Up lang ako ng 7-Up. Sabi ko, ano ba yan? But the first day, again, my devotion is Psalm 40. Okay, I have put a new song, you have put a new song in my mouth. Many will hear and see, and believe in you or something like that. I mean, I don't remember but basically that was it. That was what stood out. Sabi ko, eto na talaga. So when I came home
from Hong Kong,
I came home February 10. February 11, again, I went back to my usual routine. Ang usual routine ko sa quiet times ko, like for example today, I'd read a chapter in a book from the Old Testament.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I'd read a chapter in a book in the New Testament. So, paulit-ulit lang. So, at that time, February 11, I resumed my routine. And my devotion led me to read Ruth chapter 2. And I had an experience with the Spirit of God. Talagang the presence of God was so heavy in our bedroom. And basically, the story of Ruth is Boaz told Ruth, you just stay in my field and I'll take good care of you.
Submission. Faith. Yeah.
So, man, whatever God was telling me or whatever I could sense from God, it's not an audible voice, but it was so strong.
Your conviction was very strong inside.
I would write it in the edges of my Bible. So, and then I started convulsing violently. I started weeping uncontrollably. But anyway, after that experience, I didn't even tell anyone, except my second son saw me inside the room. So, Papa, what's happening to you?
How old was your second son at this time?
Batang-bata pa.
Okay.
Bata pa. I think it was 1988. I don't know how old they were, but they were really young. But anyway, I didn't even tell my wife about it. But after the experience, siguro mga 30 minutes after, I heard the doorbell. So I went out. It was the mailman giving me a letter from someone I do not know from Davao. A woman from Davao wrote me a letter. So number one, I don't know her. Number two, I didn't even know how she knew our address in BF Homes. Yeah. And so when I opened the letter, I got surprised na. So this time I called my wife. Sabi ko, sweetheart, something happened in the bedroom. And I told her the story. Sabi ko, could you please read the Bible? Ruth chapter 2. Read. Naiiyak ako. Sabi ko, read everything that I wrote. And then read this letter. You tell me if you notice anything. My wife said, pareho to ah.
Oh my God.
So basically the letter just confirmed what
you
the Spirit
discovered.
of God. Yeah. So after the experience, the letter came.
Same day.
30 minutes after. So the letter parang confirming what the Spirit of God was telling me using Ruth chapter 2 as a basis. 1 year ago, when we were talking about God maybe calling me out of show business, when I told my wife about it, she cried. She said, how are we going to eat? How are we going to live? This time, when I said, after that, reading it, sabi ko, sweetheart, this is too much of a coincidence. Sabi ko, this time I'm leaving. I'm leaving show business. She smiled. So, I don't know, maybe that's a confirmation. But that was it. That was February 14 of 1988. That was my last show as an entertainer sa Philippine Plaza Hotel, yung Valentine's Day show.